The Chiefs lose to the Broncos 24-9 behind Patrick Mahomes' 2 interceptions, his illness, total of 5 turnovers on the day for the Kansas City Chiefs. And really, when you look at this game was so close down to the end. It really came down to Sky Moore's 4th and 2 drop pass, which was absolutely backbreaking with about 7.5 minutes to go. And that would have made it a 1-score football game. But you see, Patrick Mahomes was pressured all game long by Denver and really kept off the field due to how well Denver ran the football, which was very impressive, knowing that the Chiefs defense, what Steve Spagnuolo has done this season. The Chiefs now have more turnovers than more takeaways this year. They had 11 turnovers and 11 takeaways walking into this game. So it was a wash on the defensive side of the ball. Excuse me, in terms of turnovers and takeaways for the turnover margin. Now they have more turnovers and takeaways this season. They are negative in that category. And that's not something I thought I'd see really at any point with this team, knowing what this offense can be and how the Chiefs defense was really impressive. But people are talking about Patrick Mahomes being sick, etc. Stop that. Let's go ahead and put a stop to that right now, because this guy won an AFC championship, a Super Bowl MVP on a bum ankle, and had a big-time scramble in the Super Bowl, and was even making plays in this game, and had a big-time scramble in this game as well to convert a first down early on. And I get it. You want to give him his praises. You want to let him overcome more adversity. You want to get him as close to that Michael Jordan comparison as you feel like you can get. And I understand that, because Patrick Mahomes has that capability to go down as the best quarterback of all time. He's already top 6 for me, and I've told you all that. But Patrick Mahomes was not using this as a discount for him. He was not using this as an excuse. He said it didn't affect his play. It was just stomach stuff. It was what it was. So this whole being sick thing for Patrick Mahomes, I'm out on that. Did he possibly play like he was sick? Sure. But I want to talk about the quarterback that wasn't sick on the flip side of the ball for Sean Payton. And yes, I'm talking about Russell Wilson, who had a day. If you look at the numbers, 12 for 19, 114 yards, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. And let's just put this into perspective real quick. So Russell Wilson in his career averages, on a season, about 3,700 yards, 28 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and 65% completion per season in his career. This year, would you believe it or not, a 3-5 Broncos team who had one of the worst defenses in the NFL, had one of the worst offenses in the NFL, losing to the Raiders and Commanders coming into this year, and just not looking great. Russell Wilson, amidst all that, is on pace for a record average year. 3,428 yards, 34 touchdowns, 8.5 to 9 interceptions, however you want to cut it, and then 66% completion. So he's quietly having a good season and is getting more comfortable with Sean Payton, getting more comfortable with that Broncos offense within those schemes. And, again, Russ's numbers aren't gaudy. Again, only completing 12 passes, 114 yards. But the 3 touchdowns to me say a lot, and he didn't make mistakes. Plus, Denver ran the ball over 40 times in this football game, but Denver is also 12th in rush yards per game. So what that tells me is Sean Payton is realizing his strengths in this moment, understanding that if he can keep the ball out of Russ's hands, keep it very simple for him, Russell Wilson is possibly not going to struggle. In talking about the rushing production, 40 rushes for 153 yards. Javonte Williams finishing with 27 carries for 85 yards. And if you want to stack up those Russell Wilson numbers into where it, lines up in his career, if you look up his career stats, that Russell Wilson that we knew from 2014 or really 2015 all the way to 2020, when he really got on that peak of 35 touchdown passes, 34 touchdown passes, 34 again, 40 touchdown passes, those were the years where he was averaging about 3,800, 3,700 yards, like I was just mentioning with his stat line. Russell Wilson is on pace to have his best year since his second to last season in Seattle, when he threw for 4,200 yards, which is almost a career high, 40 touchdowns, which is a career high, a 105.1 passer rating. He's on pace for one of his best seasons since then, and for a top 3 to 4 statistical season of his career. So Russell Wilson is actually playing some impressive football, and just because he completed 12 passes doesn't mean that he doesn't deserve his credit, because again, Sean Payton, I think now Sean is starting to get comfortable. The rust is shaking off some. He's winning some of these football games. Should they be 2-6 because of what happened against the Bears? Absolutely. But you look at the fact that the Broncos are able to win back-to-back football games, thankfully. They're able to beat the Chiefs in this game, knowing that the Chiefs had won literally 16 straight, had not lost since 2018. Patrick Mahomes was undefeated against the Broncos in his career. And now it all came down. And we see that Sean Payton, it seems like now again, he's shaking that rust off. Vance Joseph is getting comfortable with the defense, because to know that the defense was the worst in the NFL walking into this game, and not only points per game, but also yards allowed per game. And you hold the reigning Super Bowl champs, the best quarterback in the NFL right now, and Patrick Mahomes, to no touchdowns, which he had the longest active streak in the NFL with a touchdown pass, and you hold them to no touchdowns as a team and 9 points overall. And again, the Broncos just chewed up the clock in this game. They kept Mahomes and Kansas City off the field. Coming out of halftime, the Broncos had two 40-plus yard drives that ate 8.5 minutes and 6.5 minutes off the clock. And the Broncos used a lot of 22 personnel in this game to really spread the ball out, get push up for those 40 carries for 153 yards for Javonte Williams. And that was just their recipe to success in this game. Keeping everything simple for Russell Wilson is, I think, a thing that Sean Payton is going to realize from this game and try to implement as the season goes on. They're not asking him to do a lot against an elite defense in the Kansas City Chiefs. That's fourth in yards, second in pass yards per game. But Sean Payton realized they were 19th in rush yards per game coming into this game, or before now, because I did some research after the game. But walking into this game, the Chiefs were susceptible to the run, average to below average in the league. Sean Payton realizing that and using a Javonte Williams to his advantage. You look at all of Russ's touchdown passes. They were short. They were easy. They were a short screen pass to Javonte Williams. He had a streaker to Jerry Jeudy over the middle. And then he had another touchdown pass that was very simple in the corner of the end zone as well. So Russell Wilson was not asked to do a lot, and he played very well because of it. This Broncos defense that once allowed 70 points has now allowed 19 to the Chiefs, 17 to the Packers, and 9 to the Chiefs, respectively, in their last 3 games. Denver had 5 takeaways on Sunday, making Kansas City go 0 for 3 in the red zone, 3 for 10 on third down. And you got to say a big credit to Denver in this one when they're switching from they're switching from their defensive backs. You have Mathis and Bassey getting switched out for Moreau and McMillan. You see McMillan make a play. You see Moreau making plays out there. It was a much needed change in their secondary, and it immediately, paid dividends over the last couple of weeks. The Broncos, shockingly enough, I'm telling you, the Broncos, they were a sleeper of mine coming into the year. And I feel like right now, as this midseason is unfolding, the Broncos could be a team just like the Vikings, just it felt like the Ravens, turning that corner, making that push. I think this could possibly be it, because not only with all those other numbers I just read off to you about Russell Wilson, about this offense, about the way this defense played, the Broncos are second in the NFL with points scored on opening drives of games with 34 now. That means a lot, and that definitely means something for a team that hasn't had a lot of success really until the last couple of weeks. Again, they do beat the Packers by 2. They come out and beat the Chiefs by 15. Sky Moore should have had the touchdown pass to make it more interesting, make it a 21-16 game. But hey, things happen. The Broncos rolled with what they had, and ultimately all they can do is go forward. Kansas City, not much to take away from them in this game. Clearly, they were flat. The Broncos defense did well. Patrick Mahomes was pressured all game. They kept him off the field. Denver ran the football well, and ultimately was just really able to draw up a great game plan as they walked in. And crazy enough, just a little fun fact about this game, things that did not exist the last time that the Broncos actually beat the Chiefs: Disney Plus, Fortnite, AirPods, TikTok, White Claw. Those are all pretty recent things. So it's been a damn long time since the Broncos have beat the Chiefs. But 3 of the Chiefs' next 5 games are against the Eagles, Bills, and Dolphins. And all of those teams are already taking notice. Yes, they do have a Raiders and another game thrown in there as well. But 3 of the next 5, you're going against some of the best teams in the NFL. And just like I said with the Niners, just like I said with the San Francisco 49ers, it is not going to get easier for them. It's only going to get tougher. And all of those teams are absolutely taking notice.